we hear? Do you hear that? Didn't even say anything. Hello? I'll try this one. No? Welcome, everyone. We're just giving everyone a chance to get up the stairs, but if you could all take a seat as soon as you can. We'll get going in a couple of minutes. about to start. Welcome everyone. My heart is absolutely warmed by how many of you have come out in the rain to see us here today talking about Bike Auckland and how we make this a more livable city. Firstly, just a couple of... Okay. Firstly, just some housekeeping. The bathroom is just across the hallway to the right. And in the case of, very unlikely case of a fire, we need to go straight down the stairs and just outside onto the front, in front of the building on the footpath. Anyway, it's amazing to see you all here today. I'm just so grateful that you've shown the interest to come here and hear about what Bike Auckland has been doing and maybe a little bit about what we plan to do. First of all, I'll introduce you to the board in case you don't know us or you don't recognise us. First, Gabriel. He's been here a long time, but he has a very... he has a disguise on today as an 80s sitcom man with his moustache. We also have Duncan at the back, who's doing the live streaming and is our deputy chair. And then the treasurer over here, Juan Espinosa. And some of you may not even know me because I only came onto the board about 18 months ago, maybe more than 2 years. But, and I was treasurer, but I was very much in the background. And then when Tony said he didn't have enough time to be chair, I still wasn't even thinking it would be me. But anyway, here I am. One dream later, which told me I had to do it, I'm doing it. So I feel a little bit ill-equipped. I've only been riding a bike seriously around Auckland for 3 years. And, you know, there's people here in this room who have been advocating for infrastructure, for people to think about riding a bike instead of driving a car. And they've seen the vision and they've been advocating for it for years. And I'm so amazed that we get the chance to take on all the work that people have been doing for the last 10, 15, 20 years that Bike Auckland has been active. And we are honoured to take that on and try and move into the future. And as I said, you know, build community and build a more livable, connected, joyous city for us and for our children to grow up in. So I'm going to go through some of the things that we have been doing for the past year. So it's time to celebrate our achievements, although the first one is still very much a work in progress. Duncan's going to put up some photos just to, I guess we've got the agenda there. We will work through that. Did we have any apologies? Did anyone get told any apologies? I've got quite a big list, but I think we might just publish that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's quite a long list actually. And I've done the housekeeping, so if we can just move on to... Minutes. Now, we circulated the minutes before the meeting to everyone by email. And so I want to just take the minutes as read and ask that would someone be happy to confirm those minutes? Thank you, Chris. And any seconder, because unfortunately I wasn't there last time. Carol, thank you.
Carol. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you. Okay, now we move on to what we're meant to be doing, which was talking about how we're going as an organisation. And the first thing we're going to talk about, which has been the headline action, is Liberate the Lane. Now, I wish I had better news to announce that we were already planning to get on our bikes and cross the bridge, because that would be just logical and, you know, an outcome that would be fair and equitable for all Aucklanders.
Next year.
So we've got an amazing explainer on our website telling you everything about why we want to liberate the lane, who it's going to help, how it's going to help. Now that Liberate the Lane explainer was put together with some amazing contributions from Jolisa, Carol, Tim, Heidi, Charmaine, Cappuccino, Ian, and we're really appreciative to the fact that we have that depth of expertise in amongst our membership and volunteers to help us do a really high standard of work. The next step was we released the Smart Sense report, which was a donation of considerable time and expertise by Richard Young, who is in Wellington, so he unfortunately can't be here today. We've also got an open letter, and we've collected signatures from both organisations and individuals. So we've got 62 businesses signed up at the moment, and we've got a lot of reluctance in that front. It's really interesting, you know, businesses linked who offer work to Waka Kotahi, Auckland Transport, any kind of government contract, even if they do support the initiative, are reluctant to put their name to it. However, we have more than 5,000 individuals who've been happily signing the petition. We also had a Bike Champion Forum in Birkenhead with a panel discussion, and we had a great turnout of people on the North Shore who really are desperate for this to happen. We've also had quite a number of opportunities for media appearances with the announcement of the Waitanata Harbour crossing. We've had discussions with Waka Kotahi. Unsurprisingly, in the political environment with an election pending, they did not want to go further with the report, saying they didn't think it offered anything new and that it isn't safe. It's not a position that we agree with. However, until the political situation becomes a little bit clearer, right now the strategy is to build public support. So, you know, Auckland needs to stand up and say what they want and to make that loud and clear. We also went to the Traffins conference, which was, again, a very heartwarming environment, and not as I expected. There was no pushback. There are, you know, loads of people there who are experts in the field. And Ben and Richard did a presentation where they did a storytelling. It was amazing. It was really, really cool, and everyone said it was one of the best presentations of the conference. And we've got the Give a Little campaign. I know it's officially closed at just under 15,000, but I think we can still donate, and any donations would be welcome. We're going to put ads on bus backs, which will be specifically the buses going over the bridge, and we will be making people in their cars consider another option, because we know they don't. We know they haven't even thought about it. Other events that came, so this is Liberate the Lane has been spearheaded by Fian, who runs the crew and also runs the advocacy sector of our organisation. They are also really interested in initiatives for people who have disabilities and access issues related to transport. And therefore we raised money from Waka Kotahi for a project called Try a Cycle. And there's a photo there, Duncan. And, you know, that was involving an event where people got to try all kinds of different bikes and tricycles, and some people were not even sure they could actually cycle and found out they could. They felt more accommodated with the bikes that were available to use, and It was a real success. There have been requests for more events like that, both in Auckland and in other parts of New Zealand. We also carried out an audit of existing cycleways to understand the access and usability challenges, which are often actually relevant to a lot of us with bigger bikes, and that has been shared around those who can be influencers in that space. As well as the Bike Champions Forum about Liberate the Lane in Birkenhead, we've also run one in Otahu to understand barriers to cycling. We've also run a few in Wynyard Quarter, one on the e-bike subsidy, which is an absolutely fantastic idea aligned with helping everyone in Grey Lynn buy Teslas. The inclusive cycling was also a topic. And what we've done is we've tried new locations and we've reached out to bring in new audiences. This was supported by Beam, and unfortunately they cannot continue their support this financial year, so we will have to figure out how we can connect with that, with our membership in other ways. We've also been advocating around the infrastructure space. Carol's going to follow from me and talk a lot more about what's happening in that space. But as a team, we were at the AT board with our signs, waving them around. And we also, Duncan, I think we've got a slide showing, this is the community support for the Inner West infrastructure projects, including Great North Road, which became very contentious after the Mayor came into office. And, we really pulled together as a team and showed local support and made sure the board was really aware that they had a responsibility to all these organisations who had been in consultation for years over this. We also saw that Northern Corridor opened in April 2023, which includes over 5 k's of shared walking and cycling paths, which is a similar idea to the Northwestern Path. Let's hope it's just as successful. We've also been doing some work on our membership, and we hope that you will see that in growing membership numbers. We had a student volunteer group called ThinkPod do an investigation and give us a report. Now, that sort of covers off the area that Fian is directly involved with and is driving. We've got other members of our crew here today, so unfortunately Fian is unable to be here, which is unfortunate. We do have Teva somewhere here in the audience. Here he is. Now, Teva runs Bike Verbs, and there are 36, well, there used to be 35. Actually, another photo, please, Duncan. Oh, that's the southern. Here's Teva in action. And at the time there were 35 Bike Verbs. There's now 36, with Sunny Milk being the newest addition. Overall, there has been an increase in activity, and we've had a successful hui this year talking about how to gain funding from councils and local boards. It's a massive area to cover. It's really hard to figure out how to make an impact, and this year we'll be targeting some specific verbs to really focus our energy on those where we think there's enough people in place and drive to actually activate these verbs. So yeah, look out for some more targeted projects coming from Teva. Teva also presented to students at the Auckland University along with Fian, and engaged students signed up as volunteers, so that's amazing. Also in the room we have Angie, At the back, they're all hiding in the back. Angie's been running our bike valet and bike to sport. We've had 48 bike valets delivered at a range of events, and the biggest being Bike Avondale's night ride, 300 bikes that came in between 4 and 7 p.m. We were also visible at the Rugby Women's World Cup last year, and then FIFA this year we were there and got a lot of mentions and gratitude for taking people's bikes so you could get through the crowd. And also Teva's bike trailer was lugged by crew in the cold and dark by hand, because that was the easiest way to get it in and out of the venue. We had another huge year at Big Gay Out and Harry Styles at Mount Smart Stadium. We also did the final Bike to Sport, which actually was due to be done in the last financial year, but just happened at the beginning of this year. And we had some football clubs, Western Springs, North Shore United, and then some new clubs as well on board for the initiative. Angie is also working on a new project, which is the volunteers, and how we are more structured and have a better management process to actually leverage all the wonderful skills that people come and offer us. So bear with us as we're all learning, myself included, so if you do come to us and you feel like we're not understanding what you can offer, please just, reach out, talk to us. It's quite a coordination process. There's a lot more to it than it seems, but even today, so many volunteers coming in and helping at the front door, helping with gear. I mean, it's fantastic. And then the other crew member here today is Charmaine. Charmaine is also at the back. Give everyone a wave. So all of those events and campaigns need communication, and that's what Charmaine works hard putting together. And she's also done some work about how we respond to climate change developments like floods, and demonstrating how bikes can be a resilient option to use in emergency situations. And next year, Charmaine and I are going to be working a lot harder to get media presence, so we're going to be out there. Keep moving through the photos, Duncan. I think we've got some lovely photos of our crew. Now, our crew are the daily interface with members, partners, agencies, volunteers, bike riders, community organisations, and just the public of Auckland. They set the tone, they drive the culture, and they do the work. And we couldn't be Bike Auckland without you guys. And a quick final word from Barb Cuthbert, who is still in the background, egging us all on. Kia kaha. Now, on a slightly more sombre note, today is actually the World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims, and it's commemorated on the third Sunday of November every year. It is a global event to remember the many millions who suffer through the impact of road deaths and injuries. On World Day, we too pay tribute to the dedicated emergency crews, police, medical professionals who deal daily with the traumatic aftermath of road crashes. Join us for a moment of silence to acknowledge everyone affected. Thank you, everyone. I'm now going to pass on to Carol from our infrastructure team of volunteers, and Carol's going to take you through the developments in our infrastructure over the last year. Thanks, Carol.
Hi.
Hi, Carol.
I'm Carol. This is our... Oh, I have to go this way. Good? Right.
group from all different parts of Auckland. If you've got a question
I need
about
to follow the agenda
infrastructure
though, I forgot all about it.
and you don't know who to direct it to, this email will, within the group email, it will get to the right person eventually. It might be passed around. So what we try and do in our group is to get lots of local feedback. So apart from the people in this subgroup, we also, you know, if there's something going on out west, we'll get somebody from the local area to answer some good local knowledge questions that we've got. So what I thought I'd do today, I'm not an expert, by the way. In my daily life, I draw pictures. But what I thought I'd do is just go through loosely geographically to talk about the stuff that's happened this year and that's kind of coming up. I probably have missed out some things, and there's some things that I'll gloss over. Yes, let's go. Okay, so this is north. This is Karen mentioned the Northern Corridor. So this is State Highway 1, and this is State Highway 18. And so all this pink bit is the new bit of path. So it's quite exciting for the people that are up there. It means that there's lots of access to all these different communities. And there's two more pictures, photographs of when that opened, which was in April. Looks nice. Looks like the North Western. Nice, good signs, great. And also in that same sort of area, Otea Valley Road. So this is a new bit of news. The Upper Harbour Local Board just voted to create or improve the shared path connection along Otea Valley Road. So this is this bit that you can't quite see behind this drawing is State Highway 1. So there's a little bit of bike infrastructure on that road, but it's pretty terrible, and it's going to eventually go right down to join up with Albany Highway. So that's going to make quite a difference to those communities, commuters, and people trying to access a lot of the shops, stuff around there. So we're quite pleased about that. Bike Albany, which is the bike up in that area, and Bike Auckland have been asking for this and campaigning for this for a while. Yeah, it's quite a big dangerous gap. If you've ever driven along Otea Valley Road, it's not very nice. Okay, the next one more in the north is there's a fairly short gap. If this is really for the people up there, the locals, to link Albany Highway Path to State Highway 18. There's a very small gap which needs plugging. It was supposed to start a while ago. It's been postponed. That's all I can tell you for now. Lots of things got postponed, and they seem to be sort of slowly trickling back into the pipeline. So then we get to east. This bus stop. Remember Simon O'Connor was really angry about this bus stop because they moved it into the road. He had a good rant on YouTube about this particular bus stop. I thought I'd put that in there. Just before we get to this, on the Glen Innes to Tamaki Drive path, there's a connection to Gowing Drive that was in the designs. There's been lots of backwards and forwards about that. Apparently, the detailed designs and construction planning have taken place. Completion is anticipated in mid-2025, so it is happening, but we have to be a bit patient. We're going to continue to push for that. Charmaine lives out that way, so she's been helping with some of those negotiations.
Attributed to the 18th ward.
Very good. Now Picky Road. So this is part of Glen Innes to Tamaki Drive. Some of you may have ridden on this to link up to that. This is the interim cycleway. So just to be clear, this is not the final look of this cycleway. The final cycleway will go on a boardwalk around the edge. So that's going to be a big project, and it's quite expensive and complicated. So this is the interim cycleway. It's not perfect, but it exists. There's some weird signage, there's some weird layout. One problem that you may not know about, this is a freight route. So this is part of the issue with this road, is that it has to be built so that freight can get around it. The next slide, shows you, this is where the boardwalk's going to go. So not all the way up to the top. That last curve is pretty much about where this interim one starts. So then it'll come back down here. We've still got some negotiation happening with this bridge. What happens here? It's always bridges because they're always old and narrow. So that construction is imminent, I think. Okay, the next one is Eastern Busway. Those of you out east, work has started on this apparently. It may not be very obvious yet. So that's going to join up Pakuranga busway station to Botany station. So it does go around where the busway stations are. So that should be really great for those people out there who are so far lacking much bike infrastructure. Completion for this is supposed to be 2027.
Yeah, a little bird said to me that potentially they're going to start with the cycle.
Oh, good. Good. That's good intel. That'll be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, next one is, next slide please, thank you. This is Tanifa Street, so Gleninnis, that's Gleninnis to Tamaki Drive cycleway. Yes, thank you. What, 5? Oh, 5 minutes. I said, give me 5 minutes. Okay. Right. So this is complete by November. Somebody tell me, is it complete? Anyone? Nearly. It's nearly there. So we are still in November. We won't jump up and down yet. So it's quite an interesting cycleway to go on. Probably it's very suburban. There's this interesting roundabout here. Next slide. Dutch roundabout.
Ooh.
Is it though?
Nice.
It's almost Dutch roundabout. It's not quite Dutch roundabout, but never mind, we'll call it a Dutch roundabout. So there's lots of, so basically what it means is that you're on the cycleway and you can carry on round the roundabout without mixing with the cars. It's worth having a look at, I think. Okay, next one. We've got new projects. So this is linking to Stonefields, which is down here. So Stonefields, Gleninnis to Tamaki Drive, Gleninnis, you see Tanifa Street there, that's the finished bit. The pink bits are coming soon. The blue bits are approved but no date yet. So that will, I mean, once that's done, great. Next, 5 minutes. South. We're going south. Now we've got to Manukau, and this is what we call pop-up protection. And what that means is where there's a painted cycle lane, they do a little bit of adjusting and put some protectors down the side of the painted cycle lane. So they're not creating a new cycle lane, they're just improving what's there. So some of this is complete. The pink bit, Manukau Station Road, Lambie Drive, part of Cavendish Road is complete. The green bit in the middle is from now until next June, so imminent. There's a picture of Cavendish Drive. I mean, it's not a great road, but at least you've got a bit of protection. So this is the kind of thing that they're doing, hopefully in lots of various bits around the city. Then we get to Mangere East, and this is called Mangere East and Manukau Preferred Cycling Networks. Catchy. This is, and I quote, delivery to start in 2024. What have we got? Existing parks, blue. Orange, proposed new cycle routes. And the dotted one is proposed improvements to existing cycle lanes, which will be that same sort of thing. So there's some stuff, I won't sit on this for very long, there's lots to see, but it's happening apparently. Okay, next. Mangere West. This is an interesting one because the consultation's just opened until December the 4th, so we haven't got long, and we'll put out some things about it, she says, putting some onto my colleagues. So this is basically joining up the new bridge at Mangere Bridge down towards the airport. So lots of people can access this. There's big employment zone down here. There's some photos, this is just taken from their publicity, so there's lots of sort of good two-way cycleways, there's various ways that they're proposing to do some of this. So that will be a thing to look out for, especially if you're riding down there, or if you're interested in that area, to submit on that soon. Next, west. So this is Brigham Creek to Kumu, the pink line, Wakakotahi. This is a Wakakotahi project, and it's temporarily paused. Partly because of apparently a significant cost increase, construction due at the end of 2025. So what that will do is lots of new housing in Kumu and Pilkai, and it will take them down to Brigham Creek Road. What's the point of that? I don't know. They need to make it go down to Mercy. So, they'll take it. They'll take the first bit, and then we'll ask for the second bit. Right? That's how we do it. So, but there are people that ride on this road. Lots of road cyclists will use this bit, but I don't see anyone apart from road cyclists using that. So this will be a good improvement. Oh, and tether. So it'll be a somewhat useful route for more people. Next slide shows the road. You wouldn't want to, would you? I don't know why tether does that. Anyway. Next one. Next is not a slide. T2 and bus lanes. So in T2 North and T2 South, they're doing some pop-up protection in T2 Peninsula on existing painted lanes. That's nearly finished. T2 South, unfortunately, is going to probably be worse for cyclists because the project is bus lanes, not cycle lanes, and they're taking away a fairly unused parking lane to put in a bus lane. So it's not going to be brilliant. But eventually, this is supposed to be starting very soon. I keep saying that. To Faux Pathway this is, so there's little bits of it done down here. This is from Robertsfield to the Northwestern. So you're coming along the Northwestern, you'll be able to get all the way down to here. And this services a whole lot of people and schools in this area without them having them to go to T2 Road, which is awful. I haven't seen anything yet. I'm not celebrating until I've seen someone with a spade. And then we get to Central. So the one project feedback that closed this year, and we did do lots of feedback about it. I think Christopher was involved in giving lots of feedback about this from a local perspective. So this is a joint project between Wakakotahi and Auckland Transport because the Strand is officially a state highway. So they're proposing putting some cycle infrastructure along almost to Key Street. Almost. So we did give lots of feedback about this. They're going to improve some intersections and make sure the paths join up with the existing beach road cycleway. So it's better until you get to there. The bridge, it's a bridge, so it's narrow and there's trucks and lots and lots of reasons why the project stops there. We're going to keep conversation about this going because this is not great. But apparently they had a lot of feedback about the Gladstone Road intersection, which, if you know that, is enormous, and lots of feedback about why is there a free turn, why are there slip lanes. But so they went, we'll take that on board. So. Next, Gregory Road.
Yeah.
I would like to point out they removed the flush median.
Yeah.
See, they can do it. So if you've ridden up there lately, you'll see lots of works. Those are basically enabling works. So nothing exciting looking yet, but lots of cones and diggers. So the main construction apparently starts at the start of next year for the next 18 months. Most of the time the cycle lanes will be 1.8 metres compared to 1.5 on Karangahape Road, so you'll see there's an extra bit of width. So The next one is, of course, the CRL is imminent. 1 year to wait for completion? Question mark. Kanangati Road Station if anyone's coming on the ride, she looks at the weather. We're going to go past the CRL at Pitt Street and have a talk about that there. Mercury Lane, now pedestrianised, or shared path technically, which is great. There was, 3 cars going down before, now there's just a person. So that's good. It's going to be an exciting station, 33 metres underground. Ooh. Hopefully Beresford Square entrance, so where a lot of that construction is happening, a possible bike parking hub going there. Oh, and in addition to this, a separated cycleway along Canada Street. So this is coming from Upper Queen Street down. You've probably been down there and been terrified as a pedestrian gets out of their car or comes up towards you. So separating this will be part of that. Okay, next. No photo for this. Dominion Road pop-up protection. There's been a small extension of the buffers along Dominion Road to the flyover, as far as the flyover, which is probably helpful for some people. Needs to go further. Queen Street's Waihoratiu path, that sort of odd shared walking fast, pedalling whatever lane, quite useful. It's finished. Is it finished? Yes. In the last sort of 2 weeks, probably. Last time I went, it wasn't, but so it extends all the way down to the bottom now, which is good. And then not the last one. Yeah, so these 2 images of Victoria Street, so Tahanua, it's back on. It's like what I wrote there. Completion in spring 2025. There's going to be bi-directional cycleways. There is a gap, again, there's always a gap, to Nelson Street cycleway. So there's about 1 block between the Sky Tower and Nelson Street. They have approved the design for an interim solution to that block. So they acknowledge it exists and they're doing something about it. They just need to sort out the funding. Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. I said here, Federal Street to Albert Street, open soon. What does that mean? I can't think of where this yet. There you go, Federal Street along Victoria Street. Yeah. The bit from Federal Street to Albert Street is open soon. So you'll see that appearing in the next 18 months. And the last one is it's a bit in the future, but there's another project called the Wellesley Street Bus Improvement. So when the buses move to Wellesley Street from Victoria Street, they're going to improve the bus access, which includes getting under Simon Street. And as part of this, what we're hoping is that there'll be better access under here for pedestrians and cyclists. Hopefully all the way, but either above or below, but hopefully not that funny little path you go up at the back of the university up to Simon Street. So we'll be involved in talks about this. However, this is stage 3 of that project and there's no dates for it, so that will be in the future, but something to think about. Thank you. Hopefully I didn't forget too much stuff. There's probably lots of pointy details that you want to know. You could ask me, I might not know the answer, but I can hopefully point you to the person who can. And over to Christopher Dempsey.
I just wanted to say we will send the slides around afterwards if we have your email address, which most people have checked in, but if anyone wants to send their email address and get the slides so they can pore over those details, we'll be sending them out later. Yes, so Chris, it's up to you now. Over to you. The Cycle Action Network.
Take 5 minutes, or less than that. I'm with Cycle Action Network, that's my other hat, and we're a body that represents cyclists across New Zealand. We have our AGM coming up in December 13th. It's an online AGM. So earlier this year we had an online AGM that was well attended. So we're hoping to get more people coming along to our AGM on Wednesday, 13th December at 7:30 p.m. I've got the Zoom link. I have to be a bit careful about where I share the Zoom link to, so you can contact me. Email address will be in the minutes. And then the second thing, more exciting thing, is Can Do, our restarting our annual Can Do. Pip has been to a few, Pippa and I have been to a few, they're always great. Cycle advocacy workshops, it'll be in March 15, 16? Yeah, March 15, 16 in Wellington, hosted at the Sustainability Trust in Wellington. It's a great occasion for cycle advocates to come together, network, learn from other people, learn from advocates in Hawke's Bay, advocates in Christchurch, network, and have a fun time. Following the Can Do advocacy workshop on the 17th, 18th is Walk to Cycle Conference. That's a annual conference, biannual conference. So you walk to cycle, and that's a more professional conference where a number of people in the government and in the commercial sector and cycle advocates come together for 2 days to talk more technical stuff and plan. So if you have any questions, my email will be in the notes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I'm now going to introduce our Treasurer, Juan Espinosa, and he's just going to take you through just a few slides, and then at the end will be our financial statements.
Thank you, Karen. Kia ora. Well, now I'm going to talk about the financial. Not that excited at the previous presentation, but we keep it light. And if you have any questions or one, you can contact us and I will reply you by email or chat with me. So we can pass the slides. So basically, this is our year-on-year income. So we grow about 12% during the previous financial year. Basically, our stream of revenue are basically done by contract that we provide for AT. Followed by obviously revenue by the pensions and obviously the contributions. This year we have less money that we receive for AT, so our contribution for AT was reduced. However, that was offset for the contributions for our pension and obviously your donations. Can we go to the next slide, please? So here is how our income is distributed or was distributed for the first 23 across the teams. So as you can see in advocacy and infrastructure is where every membership, donation, sponsorship, and interest is going to. So that's the job that mostly the CEO is doing with the infrastructure team, just in advocacy, and it's basically where we believe the force of our fits with. We have part of the patron revenue goes to communications and a little bit of the sales that we produce. We have a new initiative this financial year that is by Bike and Bike Sports. So this is run by Andy, and it's basically so the revenue for them is we have a little bit of funding that coming of that sort of starting effort to do from 80 and to sort of see here. For the funding for by Auckland, and the rest is basically what the revenue of that by Auckland is just contributing there. The last one is by work in the society contract that we provide for them to support the community, and a little bit of funding that we receive as part of the regular contract with IT. Can we go to the next one?
Next slide, please. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this is how we spend the money. So basically on the left we have the teams again. So we have basically, what you can see is pretty even the way that the income distributed versus the expense. So we have, again, the biggest expense coming for the advocacy infrastructure. This definitely cover things like rent, the work of the crew is doing, so basically every people, the revenue and other expenses like marketing and communication and so basically just running costs. It's not much variance year on year. On Excel it's pretty much flat. We do have a little bit of timing in the expense that we deliver project that started in FY22 related to FY23. So we accounted those expenses for the financial year. That's why it looks a little bit higher than it was the previous year. Can we go to the next one? And this is basically our final position. So we have an overspend of 45k. Again, this is based on projects that we execute this year. So we have 5 projects, inclusive cycle programs that were run this year. So that's basically why we have these overspends, mostly because of that.
And I just need to step in and we need to ask everyone if we can actually approve the financials as we presented them. So if anyone has any questions for Juan before we actually make that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, can you just explain the difference in the funding and the teacher review? It's great that you got more funding from teachers for the department.
Yeah, that's right. So if you look at the first line, is the 80 service contract. So we lost a bit of revenue coming from 80, and we needed to, so the patron step up and give us a little bit more to cover the CBO role. So that's why if you look at it, they sort of inverse those lines between year to year. So that's what happened. So what we want to do, or need to understanding that, as a bike, Auckland, we want to be more sustainable with our income, to be more resilient, and depend less on those contracts. So that's why we started to the park ballet to be able to sustain and keep our potency without any dependency of the parties.
Any other queries before we just put it to the floor to accept the financials? Does anyone object to us accepting the financials as at the meeting?
Can we get a mover and a
Would
seconder?
you like a mover and a seconder? Okay. Would anyone? Thank you, Richard. Any seconder? Thank you, Cara. Awesome.
What's her name? Cara.
Cara. Yep. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Passing on to you again.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, Juan. He's had to come on from my chaotic time as trying to be chair and treasurer, so he's done a really good job of picking up. Now, the next question is there any other general business that anyone wants to raise at this point? Great, thank you. And now we get to the business end, which is the election of officers. So we have 4 board roles. You can just put the next slide up, Duncan, so people know the roles. Duncan's going to come and stand up the front to talk about take the vote for the chair role, because I have put my hand up of being nominated. So we have nominations for the chair, myself, Duncan coming back as deputy chair, and treasurer as Juan. At the moment we don't have a nomination as secretary, but anyway, I'll hand over to Duncan just to run the election for chair.
Afternoon, everyone. My name's Duncan Labour. I'm the Deputy Chair for at least the next 5 minutes. So we've had one nomination for Chair for Karen Horman. Are there any further nominations anyone wants to bring forward? Would anyone like to nominate or close these nominations?
I'd like to nominate Karen.
Okay, seconder for that. Chris Dempsey. Everyone happy that we duly elect Karen as chair for the incoming 2024 year. Well done. I will now myself.
Thank you very much. I think just given we only have one nomination for deputy chair and treasurer, and secretary role we don't have nominations, but we do have a couple of people who may put their hands up after we've gone through this process. But do we have any other nominations for any of those roles that we'd like to have put forward? I'd like to just suggest that we accept both the Deputy Chair as nominated and the Treasurer as nominated. If someone would be happy to put that forward. John is,
Constable.
and a seconder, can we have, is that Carol over there?
Aye. Perfect.
Does everyone want to agree with that?
Aye.
Awesome, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for your support of the board as we stand, and we will work hard to deliver the right strategy for you all in the future. Now we move on to community awards, and we look for people who have worked hard in the advocacy space, and we have chosen 3 winners for today. This is the Barb Cuthbert Community Cycling Award, the Over and Above Award. Our first winner is actually unable to join us today, a last minute apology, but Tommy De Silva, and you may well have read their writing in the spin-off. Excellent responses to some of the madness out there, and just support of cycling as a great alternative transport option. So unfortunately Tommy can't be here, but let's just congratulate him. The second Barb Cuthbert Community Cycling Award is to be presented to Kimberly Graham, and that's for persistent advocacy for inclusion and access for both disabilities and safe cycling. Is Kimberly here? Oh, you are here. Yeah, Kimberly did lots of work on the tricycle and the cycle audit and was right in there. It was a big piece of work that was delivered. Excellent. And excitingly, we have a new award. So Bike Auckland has now the inaugural Trailblazer Award, and we're awarding that to Louise too. Congratulations. Now this is for making a space for brown women and people of colour who cycle. And you ran a wonderful event earlier this year. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Dr. Now, I'm able to draw the meeting to a close. It's been so nice to see all your smiling faces here. And now we're going to invite any brave soul to come on a bike ride with us, and I'm going to hand over to Angie, who's going to tell you what happens next.
Hello. We're all going, if you guys want to come to the bike ride, we're all... if anyone wants to come on the bike ride, let's just meet where that vehicle gate is. Bring your bikes, get ready. I know some people are parked outside, so no worries, just meet us at that vehicle gate. We'll go on a bike ride, which Carol will lead. And we'll have different places to stop, and she'll let us know what we all have to do. And then if you're not, it's all good. Thank you for coming. If everyone could just lift their chairs at the end now, lift up your chairs and then just stack them to the side of the wall. That'll really help us packing up. And if we have a table, we'll push the tables to the side when you're ready as well. If you happen to have a glass that we had for water, can you just help me bring that downstairs to the kitchen? And then one more thing, you might have noticed on Liberate the Lane posters on the table, which Carl helped us to print off. So the intention for these is that they're put around public places to promote the campaign and spread the word. So feel free to take one, put them out somewhere, give them to a friend, and that's what I have to say.
If people don't come on the bike ride, can they still meet us?
Yes, correct. If you don't want to come on the bike ride, that's okay as well. You can meet us back at the flagship, which is down the quarter at 3:45. We'll have some food and drink put on and just celebrate the year that's been.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, Angie. The meeting is closed. Everyone, get your cycling gear on.
I think they're all there, so I think we're good.
That's right.
When I look at the draft minutes,